The G-Way Podcast with Deacon Dirty.
What's up, y'all? It's your man G-Way holding it down. G-Way Podcast, and I'm kicking it alongside with my man Deacon
Dirty.
And we got a very special guest in the building. Now, I met this young lady a few weeks ago here at the studio. And had a lovely conversation about all kind of things dealing with this industry, dealing with life, dealing with this industry, dealing with life in the industry, dealing with life outside the industry, just dealing with it. And so I said, well, I want that plethora of knowledge and wisdom that she was kicking, you know, in the green. Well, we don't have a green room no more, but it was the green room at one point, to come and sit with us on the G-Way Podcast with Deacon Dirty. And let's talk about it. So I have TeeCee Cribb.
Yes.
TeeCee Cribb is in the building. What's happening?
Nothing much. Excited about these here stellars.
Man, it is a busy weekend this weekend.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm trying to figure it all out.
Same here.
Kinda.
Kinda, sorta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's too spread out.
It's way too spread out and too much going on.
There could not be less than probably 20 events.
That's probably
Is that
about
too
right.
less? Or
That's less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
Atlanta is about to make some money this weekend. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Hotels, the economy going to be looking real good here. Yeah. So shout outs to the Stellars for doing it here in Atlanta versus Nashville. And that one time they did it in Vegas, but once or twice they did it in Vegas. But I think, you know, between here and Nashville, they done found a home. So that's what's up. So let's back it up, Miss TeeCee, and tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm sorry, I need to be muting that phone. Who you are, where you from, and all that good stuff. So you are from
Virginia.
What part?
Richmond,
Virginia. That's right. We were just talking about that earlier. We were talking about the beaches.
Virginia Beach area.
Well, just different beaches.
Beaches
Virginia Beach area. That's where you born and raised.
I'm not from the Virginia Beach now. I'm from Richmond, so that's like right there.
That's
the
right.
center.
True that. Yeah. Because matter of fact, it's this.
Yeah. It's just like that.
You're right.
Yeah.
295.
95.
No, 95. No, 95 takes you to Richmond.
95 takes you to Richmond from
and
here.
295.
295 you can get to it to Richmond too, and also you can get to it when you start going down other ways. You come in through 64.
64. That's the word I'm looking for. There we go. Yeah. I've only, you would think that I would have been to Virginia Beach numerous of times, but for whatever reason, back in the day, I didn't really care to go there.
Really?
Not at all. Even when they didn't they do the rump shaker video?
Yeah.
Check baby 1 2.
When Teddy Riley hit town.
Right, yeah. Even then, it didn't draw me.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay. See, everybody want to go to D.C. Everybody want to go to Maryland, so they like that end of the DMV area.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, I'm D.C. Tried and true, you know.
Yes, you are.
You know what I mean? Everybody know it. I scream uptown.
Yes.
So you from the Richmond area, which is right next door to Peters.
Right there by
Petersburg. Right.
20 minutes from Petersburg.
Right.
So you have Virginia Union right there. You have Virginia State right there.
That's right.
So all of that is right there together.
Yeah. So how was life growing up in Richmond? Because I think going down that way was like to go to King's Dominion.
Yeah.
Everybody
went to King's Dominion and Busch Gardens.
In Busch Gardens, right.
So, it was pretty good. It was like, I think any other city. What I like about Richmond, though, is, like I said, you can get to D.C., you can get to Maryland, you can go to the beach, so you're kind of right there in the center of everything.
Right.
You can come out here to Atlanta,
True.
Charlotte.
Just don't miss that turn, because if you miss that 85 turn,
there you go. You're going to be in trouble.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, you will be in trouble.
And I've done that. Matter of fact, this was back in the street sweeper days. We was heading to here, Atlanta, from Philly, D.C., to come to Atlanta. It was late at night, that 3, 4 in the morning thing, so that we can get here early in the morning. Missed that little sign. Ended up in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what
Didn't even think about it. I'm like, something ain't
You
right.
stayed on 95 then.
Stayed on 95 instead of bearing off onto 85.
So y'all didn't think when y'all hit Savannah that y'all had
It just did not dawn on me. It just did not dawn. I mean, again,
Florida.
Huh?
That's where you be in Florida.
Went straight through Gainesville. It was like something. I think, why does this look weird?
Missed that turn in Albuquerque.
Missed that turn.
That's what
Missed
it
that
is.
little sign. It's a little sign. They
It's a
need to do
little
better.
sign.
Hey,
Yeah.
put a bigger sign
Put a
up.
bigger sign up for people like you.
Right. You know what I mean? That's what's up. So grew up in Richmond, Virginia. So when did you know? Well, let's before I even talk about growing. When did you know? Let's talk about what you do. And then you know what I mean.
What I'm doing now.
Right. What you doing now? Right.
All right. Right now, I have the YouTube show for Unity with TeeCee.
Mm-hmm.
That's united, never failing, inclusive, totally embraces everyone.
Okay.
It's faith-based,
Mm-hmm.
meeting secular and mainstream.
Right.
Because what I wanted people to know is you can have both. You can be a regular human being and you can still serve God. People who are in the industry, in the secular industry, they do serve God. They do worship, and we
100.
forget that. And then the flip side, I wanted everybody over there to understand that not all Christians are judgmental.
Right.
And, embrace people. So.
Yeah. No, that's true. I'm a quick little story. I was doing some production work with a friend of mine's here, and he would do a lot of stuff for reality shows. And I know you know who she is, Nikki Gilbert from Brownstone. We was at her studio recording some stuff she was doing. And I'm telling you, this I must have been so what's the word? Naive to think that secular don't love God. I don't know why I was thinking it, but I was. Or not really thinking they don't love God, but just not putting two and two together. But she came down the hallway and she was singing a gospel song, and she was blowing that song. And I just remember standing there like, I got it all wrong. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. I think it's a total misconception.
Yeah.
People think that, but I'm like, a lot of them got their start
In the church.
Right.
Right.
And then let's look at what they do in the community. A lot of them do different things in community. Is that not God's work?
Facts. Yeah.
And I say all the time, I'm like, we miss it and we don't think about it. And the next thing is sometimes we got to step outside of us,
Yeah, absolutely.
so that we can see and reach people and learn and understand people.
Yeah, but I think because I didn't grow up in the church, but I came like 20-something-ish. And I immersed myself in it.
Right.
And so I kind of, I guess almost in a sense, lost kind of the world side of things in the sense of forgetting that just because they don't go to church or just because they don't scream God every day or whatever, that they don't love them.
Right.
That they ain't, like you said, grew up in church and got their starts in church.
Right.
Yeah, but you can lose sight of it
You
because you
can.
hear the pastor always, in the world, and you're like, yeah, the world. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the good thing is now you do have some of the pastors starting to say, you know what? Hey, I do talk to this rapper. This rapper does support me. I do talk to this R&B singer.
Right.
I do talk to this actor or this actress, and they do support me.
Yeah.
So you are starting to see that because I'm like, y'all, they have a praise.
That's right.
They have a relationship.
That's right.
They worship.
Absolutely.
So I have that. And as you know, now I'm on
New Praise Radio.
Yes.
Whoop, congrats on that.
Thank you. So
What's the name of the show?
Morning Love with TeeCee.
Morning Love. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And you rocking 3 hours. That's 3 hours, right? 8, 9, 10.
Yeah,
Yeah. You rocking.
yeah.
I had to count on my fingers.
So I'm excited about that as well.
That's what's
So
up.
what I'm
That's
doing.
what's up. So now let's back it up.
Okay.
So was that always the goal? What was the growing up? You said I want to be. Was it radio?
So
Was it the PR?
Okay, so PR really wasn't it. Radio at one point was it. As you know, I told you I majored in music. I decided at the last minute I wanted to change my major. And initially I wanted to do mass comm because I wanted to go on the radio.
Right.
But my counselor told me, you don't have the voice for radio. So you might want to stick with either music or do something else. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do business and I'll do marketing. PR came about. I did back in the day an online magazine, Sister Divas.
Okay.
And I started doing so much, and somebody was like, why don't you do publicity, T? And I'm like, I don't think so. But then I started doing more and more stuff. I was like, okay, maybe I should.
Right.
And it worked out. This right here stemmed from, I went to Sarah Jake Roberts' virtual conference.
Okay.
Back in November.
Yeah.
And so in there, a lot of the ladies and I started talking, and we started a group meet. And in the group meet, we started talking about, I said, oh, y'all, I'm going to start reading the Bible, but I'm not doing cover to cover. I'm doing it in chronological order, but I want to do it in a year, and I don't want to wait until January, so I'm starting it now.
Gotcha.
So they were like, well, we want to do it with you, too. Why don't you do, like, a fellowship group or a Bible study or whatever? I was like, okay, so how about Thursday? So we meet up on Thursdays, and we do that. And from that, I don't know, I just got this desire. It just came over me as I started hearing their stories and some of the things they were dealing with as babies, you know, walking into their journey of faith. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I want to do something where mainstream meets the faith-based community, and the faith-based community meets mainstream. Right. And I want to be able to show everybody. So I said, you know what? I'll put a press release out and see, you know, what happens. And I got a lot of love and support, and I started this show on February 8th. So that's even new.
Yeah. I saw you talk, and you talking to some folk too. Matter of fact, I just saw you was talking to you were interviewing what's my man from Troop.
Yes, Steven.
Yeah. So you are mixing it up.
I am. And also not just sticking to people within the Christianity faith as well, because I did Muhammad Ali's ex-wife. Okay. Yeah, and so Mama Ali. And she has such an awesome perspective, because her thing is, she's like, she feels everybody should read the Bible, everybody should read the Quran, and you should read like all of the Bibles out there, just so you can have a better understanding. Right. And I believe that, you know. So she was really, really awesome to interview as well. And then I did Omar Wilson.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did Omar.
Yeah.
I did David from Rough Ends, and that's about to come out next week. Nice. Yeah, because I'll be doing Stump the City Awards in Memphis. Okay. Yeah, and so I'm gonna drop that right before that, because they're being honored there. Oh, are they? And Troop is too. Yeah.
They're from there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rough Ends. Where are they from?
No, Rough Ends from Maryland.
Wait.
Yes, they're from Maryland.
Wow, you're right. Yeah. Dang. Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah. And so you fell into it, kind of talked away from one thing and into it. Yeah. But I guess radio never left.
I don't think it ever left. I think I always had that desire, and I think that it's getting bigger and bigger, because I really feel like this is a great way to just touch people and reach people and spread the love. So, yeah.
And it keeps you out there.
And it keeps you
relevant, what we call relevant.
Yes, what we call relevant. Yeah.
Because you know how it works. If people don't see you,
that's right,
they thinking, oh, she done fell off, she ain't doing nothing.
By the wayside.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's been my, almost in a sense, struggle when it comes to that, like with the show of all right, well, you got to stay relevant, you know, but at the same time I'm like, but you know.
So this is my thing. And I say I'm going to stick to this, because I really do feel like a lot of what has been happening has been God-led. And God has truly had his hand in it. And I don't think I could have done any of it without him, because the people that have been coming into my path has been totally just amazing. So my thing is, I want to stay humble. Yep. I want to stay true to myself. Yep. I still want to consult with God, let him lead me and guide me. And where he take me, I'll follow. And so I think that it'll all work out. And I think it'll go how he wants it to go, truly. So, right. Yeah.
So with the PR, like, who are some of the people that you have worked with or are working with now?
I don't do PR anymore. Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought you were still doing it.
No.
Okay.
No. So I've been out of PR for so many years now. I
really?
did it,
okay.
In the early 90s to like the early 2000s. Then I went overseas to Afghanistan. Well, actually, I went to Louisiana, then I went to Texas, then I went to Afghanistan.
Okay.
And I was over there for 6.5 years.
Wow, how
Yeah.
was that experience?
Now that right there.
Were you
was
on U.S.
something-
soil?
Yes, I was
Okay.
on U.S. soil. I was on the soil.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's trying too, because you know what it's like out there on the soil. And you got to keep your head, keep your head up,
yeah.
looking, and then you got to keep your head down, make sure you don't step on nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a totally different experience. But for me, you know, people always talk about like the rocket and the mortars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody know you have that. But I think what people forget, because I went over there as a contractor.
Okay.
And so they be like, oh, y'all made all this money. Oh, you know what? You over there making the money. That's
Yeah, but you
what's
still don't
up.
want to die though. You're making
Don't
the money.
want to
Yeah,
die.
you're right.
You end up with PTSD.
PTSD.
Because you're going through the same thing the
Yeah.
military go through. You
Heck
don't have
yeah.
like,
With
the
less
first
body
Like,
armor.
like I hear the bombs too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
With
don't
less
have
body
no
armor on,
weapons.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you do have, you know, your PPE and all of that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have any weapons. You can't do anything. But my thing is they forget about
Pew
this.
pew.
Right.
Yeah, they like go get in that bunker. So, you know, but what I think people don't understand is it's not easy living. You
Yeah,
going
yeah.
over there is all this dirt. The rocks about like that.
Dang.
They big rocks. You twisting your ankles all day.
Right,
every
What was the
day.
heat like though?
Okay, so when it's hot, and when it's cold, it's cold.
Two extremes.
So it's too extreme, and I've never known it to be anywhere in the
In
middle.
between, wow.
Because I know my first year in Afghanistan, it was so funny. It was burning up, and it'd be so hot, your jeans and stuff be sticking to you. And I'm going to get to this part in a second. But your jeans be sticking to you. And then the next morning I woke up and it was snowing. I was like, what the world? Like, where they do that at?
Right.
And, like, they get snow. And it gets cold.
So you don't even think about that when it comes
cold.
to
Some of
Afghanistan.
the terrain is mountainous, right?
Yeah, you
Okay, yeah.
really high up. And that's the other thing. You got to think about your body
yeah,
adjusting
thin air.
to that elevation, you know. And people don't think about it. We over there, we stay in the tents, just
Yeah.
like the military.
Wow.
You in those tents, you got a whole lot of roommates that you don't know, don't want to be your
Yeah.
best friend, gonna become your best friend.
Yeah.
You got about 100 of us in a tent. You know, you got to go outside to the porta potty. You got to get up
Wow.
and go outside to another tent to take a shower. And then if you're not in a tent, then more than likely they call it a bee hut, and it's like a shack. And you have 4 rooms on this side and then 4 rooms on the other side. And sometimes they might be open, and then you go around and try to get some plywood or something and build yourself your own little wall. And then if you don't
Wow.
have that, what we used to do is take sheets, and you wrap the sheet around
Around
your
it.
bed
Dang.
so that way nobody can see you in your bed.
I
Because it's
gotcha.
a bunk bed, so you take that top bunk
Mm-hmm.
and you put the sheet under that top mattress, and you bring it all the way around.
You're almost
and
like a coffin, you know?
yeah,
like a
almost
mummy.
coffin,
Yeah.
Lights out at 10 o'clock.
Dang.
Lights back on.
This
at
wasn't
5
lockdown, was
o'clock.
it?
It's almost like
You know what I'm
lockdown.
saying?
It really is. You
Wow.
know, you have a time to eat,
Mhm.
you know, because you got to think about it. The defense
Yeah,
to open at certain
yeah.
times.
Mhm.
So breakfast is at one time, lunch is at another time, dinner is at another time. You got all
And
these
you
people.
did this for how many months?
6.5 years.
6.5 years.
Years. Wow.
Yeah.
Way up.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Did you
I
venture?
say-
Did y'all or you venture out?
I did
beyond?
go to other bases.
Okay.
I did because the job that I did allowed me to go to different bases. So that was a great
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
experience
yeah.
too, getting to do, you know, that part of it. But I think that people want to talk about the money that you make, but they don't think about what you go through to make that money.
To make
Then they'll
that
think
money.
about Uncle Sam is waiting right here in the cut to get your money.
So he's standing in the sand,
He's
just waiting.
standing right there. And the thing is, people don't understand that there are a certain number of days that you have to stay out of the country in order to get that first $90,000. I think somebody said now it's $100,000. I think before I left it was $100,000. But to get that $100,000 tax free,
Mm-hmm.
you have to stay out of the country a certain number of days. I never met that thing because every time we had R&R, I
They
wanted
started.
to come home.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I thought you was getting ready to say that they knew that it was coming up, so they
no.
had you come back and so that you wouldn't get it. Okay.
You pick your R&Rs.
Okay.
And so you go, you know, however many times they let you go out on R&R.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, what they did do is they would go to other countries so they wouldn't come back into the U.S.
Gotcha.
And then they could
They can still get that money.
That break,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But not me. And I'm an only child. I got to come home and see my mom.
I
I got to
feel
come home and
you.
see my children.
I feel
I
you.
need to see my family. So
Dang.
You
Wow.
know, yeah. So that's that experience, and people just don't understand
Mm-hmm.
that. Then when I got back, I sold real estate for a little bit, and I had sold
Oh,
real
before
estate
you go
before.
there, me and G would talk about this with soldiers coming back and have to go through the process of
Decompressing.
Did you have to do that?
Yeah, I'm still doing it, and I've been
Really?
back. I got back in the end of 2017.
Oh, this is recent.
Yeah, and I still have problems. Like, I give you an example. The whole time I was over there, when I would come back, I remember after that first year of being on, I've been there almost 2 years, and me and my mom had went out, and we went to Burger King. And we got in Burger King, and I mean something as simple as Burger King. And I got in there, and you know everything is a rush, and you got to make your order, and people are behind you. And I was like, I can't do this. So I gave my mom my card, and I was like, look, just get me something. I'm going back in the car. And she looked at me like, what? You? I was like, I can't do it.
Wow.
So when she got to the car, she was like, what's the matter? I said, you have to understand that over there, you have a line of food, and you're just going through, everything's already laid out for you. You don't have to think about anything. And you don't have those people that stand behind you like,
Right.
what's taking you so long to order? You know, all of that stuff. Malls. I hate the mall. You know, I got to the point of being over there. I ordered everything from clothes to food that I wanted in case we were on lockdown.
Yeah.
They closed down the DFAC. You didn't want to eat the MRE, so what did you do? You order food that you can have in a can that you can heat up in a microwave or something.
Right.
And so coming back here, it's like a huge adjustment. And then when we came back, my house was a 4-bedroom house. And I remember before the hurricane happened, being in the house, and all I wanted to do was stay in one room. I never wanted to venture out through the house because I had gotten accustomed to living in those little small spaces.
Wow.
So you have all those things. You have your nightmares. So it's a lot of different things that you have to adjust to. But like the crowd of the mall, and don't walk up behind me. Don't do it.
Wow.
Yeah. But it really does. It changes your mindset.
Because over there, you pretty much staying on your toes.
You
are. You're always alert.
You always are alert. You gotta pay attention, and so you don't want anybody just walking up on you. Fireworks. My first time coming back for 4th of July and coming back for New Year's, I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, you do have that thing, and then just trying to get accustomed to what we call normalcy. Because we used to say all the time, I'm ready to go home, I'm ready for some normalcy. And then you get here and you like, and it'd be so funny because you're ready to go on vacation, to come home on your R&R.
Yeah.
And you're in such a hurry to do that. And then you get here and then you're ready to go back because you can't
It's
adjust
not normal.
to normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal for you.
Yeah. Sheesh. So now that you are back and you said you're still, decompressing, what are some of the things that you are doing? I mean, does it involve counseling or therapy, or do you have
Well, with me being a contractor, you don't get the same things that the veterans get. So that's the part. So a lot of things that I do, believe it or not, is on my own. So I do read a lot of self-help books. I do look at a lot of YouTube videos. I do depend upon sermons.
Yeah.
All kinds of things. And then I sit down, I journal.
Okay.
And I sit down, I do meditations and, kind of like think about, okay, so what affected you and how did that affect you? Why did that affect you? Now what can you do differently? How can you kind of like keep yourself in a calm space, or how can you keep yourself at, in a way that you're more aware of how you feel so you can deal with it.
Okay. So what prompted you, or what made you want to go there, or that was a no choice type of thing?
Of course, I did definitely have a choice. At that time, I was in my first marriage, and my husband had leukemia. And so my job was like, look, you did the World Trade Center project, you did the FEMA project. Why not go over there to Afghanistan? That would make your resume look so good, and you'd be so marketable. Plus, you'll have the money for his treatment and stuff. And so I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And we talked about it, and I was like, okay, so yeah, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And I went, and I remember like my first day being in Afghanistan was like the worst. I remember calling my mom and was like, what did I do? And she said, Yvette, what's wrong? Because she called me Yvette. She was like, Yvette, what's wrong? I said, Mom, I'm scared. Like, all I hear is choppers and stuff. And it's just weird. And, you know, I'm scared of the dark. They put you in the dark at 10 o'clock, lights are out. I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I might have to come home. But I toughed it out. And I ended up being there 6.5 years.
Wow. Okay. So now you're back, and you, like I said, you are still decompressing from that, and now you've are moving throughout the industry, the gospel industry, or just the entertainment industry. What are some of the things that you noticed that you would say, if there was one thing that you could change, or maybe even a couple things, you say this needs to change? This is, especially from the way music used to be or the way entertainment used to be, that you see different. It says it needs to go back to that, or this was a positive change for it.
I would say the things that I think we need to go back to would be artist development.
That's a lost art right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we
that doesn't even exist anymore, does it?
And somebody told me, oh, no, it does exist. But when I was talking to David from Rough Ends, he said, I don't think it exists anymore either. He said, I think it stopped with our era. And I said, you know, what happened to, you know, getting your artists ready, you know, the dancing, or even like on the gospel side, preparing them for interviews, how to show up in public. Yeah. You know, how to handle their people, their followers, their fans. So that's one thing. And I would say, believe it or not, I might be shooting myself in the foot, less accessible. I think they become too accessible.
So they're very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, too familiar.
And I think that the audience now has become too familiar. And it becomes a thing of they're obligated to. And I always use this. You know, do y'all remember when Kelly Price, the whole thing went down when she got COVID this year? And then the whole
with the family
thing
situation.
with the family situation and all of that stuff. My thing was, I sat back and I watched online. I looked at Twitter. I looked at Instagram. And I was looking at her fans and what they were saying. And I would get on Clubhouse and I would listen to all of the things that everybody had to say. And they were like, Kelly should have did this. Kelly should have did that. Why didn't she give us that? She should have showed up here. She should have. But what about her mental? What about her health?
Right.
What about her?
Right.
Where does she fit in and where does she matter? And how and why do we feel that somebody owe us that?
Yeah.
What piece do they get to keep to themselves for themselves?
Yeah.
You know? So I think that we've kind of lost that because now the fans are so accustomed to seeing, being able to basically touch.
Because all they got to do is just slide in your DM or comment on something and you comment back. So now they got to build in a rapport that they think they really have. Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so now this is expected. And you know, there was a time that we couldn't get to celebrities like that. Yeah. It was a totally different thing. Yeah. So, you know, in that aspect. But then the flip side of it is coming from the PR side, because I remember when it first started where they were able to have that accessibility. And us as publicists was like, yeah, get out there. Get out there. You want your fans to see. Yeah. You know what? Show them more. They want to see you at home. They want to see this because they want to get personable. They want to get to know you. So the thing is, it does help to elevate you and build that audience. So, you know, it can be a catch-22.
It's like a gift and a curse almost.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Kevin Hart has, like, mastered that to a T.
He has.
Because there's a such thing as overexposure, but for some reason he's walking that fine line.
It worked for him, yeah.
Queen Latifah.
True.
Yeah. And I think also
Beyonce.
Yeah, but Beyonce is still, I think she still has the untouchable Beyonce. Even the mystique. Even though sometimes you see her moving places, you're like, oh, okay, she was over there, that's what's up. You know, and that's one of those, oh my God, I can't believe that's Beyonce moments versus,
but you still see security.
You still, they
right
there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, let's even look at when we look at like presidents and stuff and how that has shifted, because they have PR and it's almost entertainment.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially the last president.
Yeah, especially him.
That or court gesture.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know, even with that, when was it a time that you could get on a device and just reach out and be able to tweet something or say something about a president? People can just say any and everything, and then go right directly to that person, really, because I mean, it does.
Yeah, because all you need is this.
Just need that.
Yeah, and that takes care of all of it.
Yeah.
But when they were talking about they need to take his phone or take his Twitter account away and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
That's when I think on a PR level, that's when your publicist needs to get involved. Like, look, you're saying too much. You need to
damage control.
Yeah. Damage control. Yeah.
Damage control. So I just really feel like those are some of the things, because like you said, it could be a blessing and it could be a curse all at the same time. And I really would love to see artists going through artist development again and being able to have that. And y'all, live music.
Yeah. You know, Usher did a table, tiny desk.
Table.
Watch this.
Tiny desk, that's what it's called, yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah.
No, I ain't gonna front. He killed that thing. Usher killed that tiny desk, boy. I'm telling you. But yeah, live music is So we so used to getting used to tracks now.
Yes, it's a track thing.
Yeah.
So some live music, and even when they're making music has become so computerized.
That's true.
Yeah. Because I know now, I've only been doing this station for a couple of weeks, and even with the YouTube show, that's only been like 5 months. But people send me their music, and I'd be like, could they have done it with some music?
It sounds the same, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. And then when you start listening to all of that, like, don't send me 5 or 6 songs, and then they all be sounding alike. You got the same thing, and I'm like, I miss that.
Yeah, well, I think long gone are the days of your Earth, Wind and Fires and your Cool and the Gangs and your full bands and amazing featuring Frankie Beverly. I don't know.
Now the gospel industry has changed a lot, and I'm loving it, y'all. I'm loving it.
So you liking the direction it's going?
I am, and I'm a deacon's child.
Okay.
My mother is a deacon, been a deacon for many, many, many years, and so I did grow up in the church. But the one thing that I loved about growing up with my mom and being an only child, I am an only child, so I have that OCS,
right?
But she allowed me, my dad and my mom were so different, but she allowed me to be able to see the world as well, and she wanted me to have that. And so, even with like schooling and my education, I went to public school for a bit, but then I finished out in private school. I did in elementary school. I went, when we lived in Pensacola, Florida, in elementary school, I went to private school for a year out there. But I just feel like now it's reached a point that it's not so one-sided in one way. I mean, look at all this within the faith-based music and Christian music. You got gospel hip-hop. You got R&P now. So it's just growing.
Kind of broaden the genres.
It is. It is.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard of Agape Music Group.
Yeah.
Man, their sound is, you got to check them out, dude.
Yeah.
Have you heard them?
I know they were here.
Yeah. You got to check them out. Their sound is, I'm like, where did this come from?
Right.
So it's needed.
It's needed. It's just different. It's dope.
It is.
It's unexplainable in some ways. I'm like, how do you explain this?
How many people can be reached like that? Like, you really can bring people in like that, because now you're reaching them on a level that they're on.
Right.
And then you grabbing them and you getting their attention.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You kind of in their comfort zone. You come into their world.
Yeah, that's like the dude, I can't think of his name. I don't know if his music is considered gospel or if it's secular. African dude. He always has his family in the videos.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of his name. I'm looking at his face right now. Yeah.
I still think it's still inspirational.
Yeah.
Because we have that area too. That's the inspiration.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just see things going in the faith-based industry. Period. Like, this is such a great time, and I don't think that we really realize it. Even with online church.
Yeah. I digs online church.
I dig online church too.
I'm a fan.
Because I ain't got to worry about keep doing this with this here hair. You know what?
You got to fight getting out the parking lot.
You don't have to fight getting out the parking lot. You don't have to worry about nobody saying, ooh, what she got on?
Just
or what
roll
she
over and hold your phone.
Roll over, hold your phone. You can go to YouTube on your TV and click it on.
There it is.
You know, and then you can go back and play it back later.
Right. There's some people who still, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, but who kind of still
like the church.
They kind of like the church. Yeah. You know, they enjoy going to the building, which I get.
I get it.
I guess for me, it's not that, I don't want to say big of a deal, but because again, I didn't grow up in it, but sitting at home, I feel like I still get the same experience from it. You know, it's the same lesson or the same teaching. Or now you say maybe the fellowship. You know.
So I was gonna say that it's a guy out here. He does a lot of shows out here in Atlanta, and he and I were talking about it when I first started my show. And he was like, "T, I beg to differ with you on that." And I was like, "You know me. I'm like, you have your opinion, and I'm cool with it, and I have my opinion, and so let's be cool with that too.
Yeah.
But I want to know why you say that, so that I can have an understanding of where you're coming from." And he was like, "Because, you know, it has changed." That was the one thing that us as a culture we had, where you had to dress up, and you did. That was the one thing that you knew you were gonna dress up for.
Put on your
gonna
Sunday's
look right,
best.
Put on your Sunday's best, and you was gonna come right and ready. So he said, so you have that piece, and then he said the fellowship piece.
Yeah,
because you can't fellowship with nobody at home.
That's right.
And he was like, and I don't care what nobody say. You walk into a church, you're gonna have a certain feeling. You sitting in your house, in your bed, or on your couch, you're not gonna have that same feeling. So I was like, well, I'm not going to necessarily say, now the fellowship piece, you don't.
Yeah.
However, I said I can beg to differ on that, because sometimes I get online, and if I'm on the Facebook side of it, on the YouTube side of it, we be talking to each other.
Yeah, got you.
And so now you're reaching new people all over the world, and you're actually connecting.
Yeah.
So you have that whole thing right there.
Right.
I said, now, don't tell me that I don't get no same feeling, because let me tell you, if it's a good word, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be in there clapping my hands. I'm going to be in there stomping my feet. The music good. I'm going to be in there rocking and dancing and moving. So, you know, I just think it's the person and the mindset.
That's right.
And what works for you. But I do think that it's a great thing, because look at the people who's scared to come to church. Look at the people who say, you know what, I experienced church hurt. And I've heard the church don't hurt you, but that's opinionated, and, you know, and I'm not swaying on either side. Right. But that still opens it up for other people that would not normally get the word.
That's right. Absolutely.
And lives get saved.
Yeah.
And then people sit home, they feel comfortable with learning. You know, they don't feel ashamed of where they are. And where they're not. What they're wearing. Exactly.
Then they're looked at as, you know, you look different, so let's, you know, shun you that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm loving it.
So where do you see the industry on both sides actually going in terms of music, gospel music and secular music?
Whew. I see some changes in a lot of ways, and some similar. I think now we have back to that virtual thing. Look at the virtual concerts and stuff. You know, you have the verses. Yeah. And now even faith-based is doing verses. And they're doing it, yeah. And it's not a true verses. It's you know, it's a good vibe. It's fun, yeah. But still, people are able to sit at home, which opens it up for those people who may not have a babysitter, may not have gas money, may not can pay, you know, that huge fee to get in and see, you know, concerts or whatever, which expands that artist reach.
Right.
So I think that you have that. I do think that churches will probably, I don't think, somebody told me that they felt like eventually we're going to get away from the structures and the buildings with churches. I don't think we'll ever get away from that.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with having the structures and buildings. I
course,
think that
yeah.
people should have both options, because you do have people that want to come inside of the church,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but you do also have those that want to worship from home.
Yeah.
So I think that that is going to go to, you know, a different level. I think with the type of ministers that we have out now, I think it's a beautiful thing. A lot of them are now leaning more into teaching.
Mm-hmm.
They're more touchable and reachable
Mm-hmm.
and accessible. That bittersweet
Yeah.
thing again, you know. They are looking at things a lot differently. They want to reach more people.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know, say, yeah, Jesus did go out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and mix and mingle
Right.
with different people. And so I'm not going to just limit myself to here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that we're going to see things continue to grow.
Yeah.
And it's going to be for the good.
That's what's up. So then, what is TeeCee doing? What does she see? The show, the radio show, the video show. What direction and where do you see that heading?
Growing. And just keep learning and getting better and better and better and networking, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And again, letting God use me, but use me on both sides.
On both sides, right?
Yeah.
Now, would you ever step back into the PR again?
I will never say never.
You're
They
like,
say
absolutely not.
They say never say never.
Right.
But I don't know if that's where I really want to be. I loved it when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think so. But it's always in me.
Gotcha.
So, you know, somebody hit me up and be like, hey, I need this or I need that. I might help them out.
Gotcha.
Because I'm good with helping people. Howard Hewitt's niece, Tiffany Bino, I was telling her husband the other day, I was like, you know what, if y'all need some help with that press release, yeah, I'll help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Howard Hewitt, for his last video, y'all check his last video out too.
Okay.
It's really, really, he did it in honor of the people that were killed in Texas.
Oh, wow.
And in Florida, I think it was. But check it out. It's really, really touching.
Okay.
And the family members, from what I understand, agreed or whatever. But it's out there.
Mm.
Check that out. But I did a press release for that for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, it definitely has a good cause. And,
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind helping out here and there. But to say I want to get back into that, nah. My focus right now is working on teaching.
Okay.
So my fellowship that I do on Thursdays, and prayerfully that will continue to grow. Doing radio.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the radio continues to go great and grow.
Right.
The show, I really, really want that to go, because I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that this is me.
Yeah.
And it feels right.
Yeah.
And it's home.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. When I was checking you, I was like, you just felt natural. Wasn't
Thank you.
forced. It wasn't. You know, some people do some things. You can tell, like, I don't know if that's really them or not, but it was natural for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love for people to give me feedbacks, tips. So you see something, hey, tell me.
Right.
I'm real open.
Now, earlier you were about to go into your venture into real estate.
Yeah.
And I kind of went towards the the contractor thing in the military. What'd you do in real estate?
So I sold real estate. I started out in real estate, believe it or not, them 90s. I did real estate in Virginia in the 90s, and I realized I didn't like to sell. I didn't want to sell. My mother was a real estate agent. So I kind of think I did it because of her, trying to follow the footsteps. But I was like, no, this is not me. So then I started doing some stuff with HUD as a contractor, and I used it for that.
Okay.
And I worked in housing in Virginia. Shout out to RRHA. I think that was, if I could go back and name everything that I've done through the years, I think that was my most fulfilling job, was working at Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority. Yeah. And I really think that it shaped and molded me. That was my start in working, number one. And then number two, you know, having that interaction with people in public housing and making a difference in their life, finding programs and stuff for people, living in public housing and receiving, you know, housing assistance, whether it was Section 8 or not. Right. I was a part of the very first Hope 6 program that they did throughout the country. So that was really good, where they actually put the residents through family self-sufficiency, but it was a choice. They had a choice to do it, and if they signed up for the program, you know, so much money would go into a savings account for them, but they also had an opportunity to go to school. They had an opportunity to not get just a job, but a career. And so we worked on those programs for them, we really, really like had like a tight bond and relationship with them. Right. So that in itself was great. And then I worked for a lot of great people back then, and I can honestly say that every manager, every director that I worked under, executive director that I worked under during my tenure with Richmond Redevelopment was a part of grooming me. And then I was so young starting out with them that even like when I stepped into the PR side, they literally supported me on everything. They would show up at my events. Oh, wow. Okay. They would encourage me. They would ask me what was going on. Right. I mean, just any and everything. So the love and support there was just tremendous. So that, I used my real estate stuff for that. Then when I came back from Afghanistan, I was like, you know what? I think I do want to sell real estate. So I went and got my license in Texas. And I enjoyed it, but then I was like, I think I want to get back into housing. So when we moved to Atlanta, I started working at Marietta Housing Authority. And I actually loved that because I got to work with the veterans. And I had the veteran program and I had the home ownership program. Gotcha. And I say again, Marietta Housing Authority, shout out to them, because like that was another family thing. We were family. When I leave here, I'm actually going to go run and say hi to them. But yeah, it, you know, that was a thing where you're helping people, you're talking to people, you're hearing their stories. And, you know, not everybody starts off on Section 8 or start off in public housing. Right. Some people have life that just happens, you know. Yeah. And they end up there. But being able to give people hope. So that's what I loved about that. And so real estate, I sold real estate in Houston. It was okay, but I was like, I don't have time to be running people all around the world. They be want to run you.
Houston's pretty big.
Yeah. And I was going to do it here. And then I was like, I don't feel it. I don't want to be, because people call you up and be like, I want to see this house. I want to see this house. I want to see this house. And you done took them to 20 houses, and then they like
I ain't feeling it.
Yeah, and then they like, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't want to buy nothing. Or then later on you see them, they done went somewhere else. Wow. So, you know, it's that whole thing.
I can dig it.
Yeah, so that's the whole real estate span.
Okay. So if people want to find out more about you and what you got going on and check out your shows and all that good stuff, where can they find you?
They can go to the number 4, and it's Unity, UNITEE.com. So it's for unity.com. I'm on IG at FOR.UNITEE or at Morning Love with TeeCee. So either of those places is really where they can find me. And, of course, I'm on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Well, TeeCee, it's certainly been a pleasure having you sit in with us and chop it up with us. Like I said, we met a few weeks ago, and Eclectic had been talking about you prior to and then even after. And I was like, yeah, let's you know, get her on the show, because I like to have her share her world with us and our listeners. So I certainly appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. And I know you're going to just enjoy all this craziness that's going on this stellar weekend, because, man.
It's going to be busy.
Yeah.
It's going to be busy.
It's already busy.
It's already busy.
Absolutely. That's what's up. It's your man G-Way holding it down, kicking it alongside with my man D-King.
Dirty.
Y'all know what it is. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy G-Wade holding it down. And I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of the G-Wade podcast. Now be sure to subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell to stay up on all the latest videos and content that we post. And we just appreciate everything.
Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at G-Wade Podcast. Till then.